Let's talk about George Orwell's classic 1984. This was just a crazy book from start to finish. He definitely took a lot of inspiration from Brave New World, and I had the fortunate idea to read them back to back, and just to kind of get a feel of like what the parallels really mean. They definitely had letter correspondence. They knew who each other were, and there was inspiration drawn from Aldous Huxley to George Orwell, in that it really is like a counter, like perfectly symmetrical, right, but complete opposite type of society than Brave New World. It's it almost feels like it could be the same universe even. It's very much like, there's this aspect of society where as long as you are a free person and loving, what the powers that be are giving to you, then you're fine and you're going to be okay. But if you are starting to rebel against the machine and Big Brother, then there is, different forms of control, ones that are more sinister and malicious start to take over. It's like it's always there, and as long as you are willing to work within it, the bear that would be any sort of powerful, government structure or corporate structure, whatever, is happy to let you, lay peacefully next to it. But once you start poking it, it will show its teeth. Um, and it's just one of those things with 1984 where you don't necessarily know how bad things are. Like, George Orwell does a great job at kind of hiding and using Big Brother as like really a mysterious figure of like this daunting, ever present, but nowhere to be seen presence of fear and control and censorship and hatred, towards, I mean, its own people and the people who are supposed to live with it, like outside of that society as well. Using means of war with other countries as a means of control, using censorship as a means of control, using torture and uh, disappearing people. Just like, a lot of people consider it to be like a very communistic society, and I think that is what we are sort of told is like what communist societies are like. And to some degree, I'm sure that it is like, very similar to these societies. But I don't think it's like exclusively that. I think there's supposed to be, George Orwell like wrote this book not necessarily as like a dark fear of the future, but as like a reflection of what he saw back in his day. And it's supposed to be like really scary, It's a personification of like things that were already happening. And it's like so much worse by the end. It's like so schizophrenic, like you don't even know what's real like while you're reading it. Like they really play on the whole like like you'll never know like if Big Brother came into your life and influenced you in some sort of way and left, like you'll never know who are like the people who are helping you, even like close people within relationships and things, and like who's loyal to what, who's willing to like give away your secrets, that kind of thing. So it's like really, really dark. It's like, it's like kind of interesting. I don't know if I like had the analysis like so deeply driven into me when I was in school because we had to read it. So like going back and reading it is like, oh my God, like where are like any where's the mercy? Like there is no like nothing that like this entity won't do to make people assimilate, make people fall under a certain pattern, make people behave and act and think and talk and be a certain way, right? Uh, there's like a whole thing about new speak in this book, which is, essentially like breaking down sentences to the most basic words and like getting rid of a ton of words in the dictionary and vocabulary in order to make it easier to talk and sentences flow faster and easier between people. But it's just like a form of control. Being able to like control your a limited vocabulary means that you are not able to express different emotions and thoughts and feelings in more uh deep, analytical, compassionate, emotional ways. Like it really takes a lot of power away from you being able to stand up and speak out, right? So it's like important to read, important to continue to gain a large vocabulary because it is a form of control, and like these books are pointing towards that, and that is like a good note to just keep in mind. Um, right? It's not like these things have stopped. Big Brother is always watching. It's they were watching before, they continue to watch now, and they're gonna watch in the future. It's just like how willing are you able to be fluid within this machine? Are you going to work with it, or are you going to work against it? And depending on how free, quote unquote, you want to be, uh, you might have to rage, and you got to be careful because once again, right, the whole warning of this book is that you are dealing with something that is so much more sinister than you can even imagine. It's something that is not emotional, it is omnipresent, and it is forever in place. And that is just power and control of people who may or may not deserve it. Right? Power just erodes everything else once people have a taste of it. And they're willing to harm and sacrifice whoever it takes to maintain power for power's sake. And it includes some of the most inhumane things on the planet, right? Psychological, physical, spiritual torture, like a total destruction of mind, body, and soul. And they do it in order to make you eventually fall in love with the system that you hate so much before they kill you. And it's like, where and why was this so prevalent even back then? And how do we shed light and not fall within elaborate traps that are set up by, governments, right? Like a whole aspect of this book is the fact that he like tries to join this resistance group, and like this group the whole time might have just been like, entrapment, like a sting operation from the government to like entrap people who are trying to change the way that society is being run because they don't like the way the censorship is going, and they don't like the way that their country is always at war, and they don't like all the infighting and outfighting and rules and whatever. It's a really powerful book, and I don't know how how much it actually hit home for people. Uh, right? It's like so scary and so real. Like Nothing in the book was out of any like fantasy novel. It was things that have already happened and things that have happened since, and people aren't forgetting about it. Like, I'm sure this is used even as inspiration for some, which is another scary thought. And a reason why you should also be keeping up with things like this, because these pieces are extreme warning signs that one should be following. Yeah. And compared to Brave New World, it was like, I mean, it was perfect. It was the perfect parallel story. Like pleasure and pain, falling within a structure versus wanting to rebel. Right, right. It's trying to fit in. Brave New World was about a character who was trying to fit in, and 1984 was a character who was within society but didn't want to be. He felt like he had to do something because things were so wrong. So it's like distraction. Once the distractions like stop working, and once the dopamine stops hitting, you know, like you are left in this soulless, paranoid, anxious place, and you build this weird culture of like, I don't know, potentially going a little insane, and right paranoia strikes deep, and it's like really bad. Paranoia is like terrible. If you have like real serious paranoia issues, like I feel for you. It can be like really really tough if you are worried about like being gang stalked or things of that nature. Like, eh, and especially when you're like dealing with a government, and if you have been speaking out against a government, I'm sure it's very scary for you. Like, good luck, you know. Like, no one is safe. It's all security theater. The machine wants you to think that they're not watching. That's the whole point. Is that everything you do is, you don't realize it. All the data. It's so much easier to watch you now than ever, right? Like it's like actually omnipresent. Like you you voluntarily put a bug in your pocket. You walk around with it all the time. They're tracking you 24/7 with that thing. We all do it. We all accept it, and that's okay. As long as it's right. If you got nothing to hide, then what are you so worried about? Like, well, besides like predatory targeted ads, and probably like the future of advertising being like AI ads that are like so personalized and generated towards you based on your watch history and things that like you're way more likely to buy these products, where it's like it's almost out of your control, like it's like willing you to do these things because it's so on brand for you, which is really scary. It's like that kind of advertising is something that I worry about for sure. Like, it shouldn't be a thing, but it probably will be. There is like other issues with identity protection, identity fraud, uh, creation of, I don't know, falsehoods, fabricated stories. I don't know, other governments like might do some weird stuff with your data if they get their hands on it. Like, not saying like one country is gonna take over another country, but if it ever did happen and they had access to a society's data, they can choose who they're gonna keep and who they're gonna get rid of based on the values that they hold from their past online data presence. Like, and I mean that's like a crazy kook thing to say. I'm aware of that, but it's not out of the realm of possibilities. If one can think of it, like someone else has thought of this too, and someone powerful has probably thought about it. People, high tech companies and government organizations know how valuable data is besides a monetary standpoint, because it's a digital footprint. It's who you are online, and it reflects your personality and shapes who you become to some degree. So be careful for Big Brother, because they are always watching. And now more than ever, you really, if you can scrub yourself, you should. Um, maybe there'll be like an EMP that wipes everyone's data out one day before it can all be weaponized against everyone. But until that day comes, we're just gonna have to hold on tight and learn a little bit, vibe a little bit, and maybe try to see the world in a new lens. I'll catch you next time. This has been Wild Will, uh, book club